Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Craft Eccentricity. I hope you all had a wonderful weekend, and I have a few new dies to show you today with samples. But first of all, somebody last week asked about this. How does it work? So this is the Snowflake Rosette die. So I'm just going to pop that there for a second, and I'm going to show you the easiest way to do it is to take your piece of card and to line your die up on the edges and cut two. Okay, this will make the smallest. I don't know if you can see that. That's been cut out onto the edge because there is no cut edge here. So to make the small one, place it right to the edge of your cardstock here and make your cut. Now, if you wanted to make a very long one, then you would have placed it here where it would cut out, and then you would have this whole length here, which you would have to score your lines to match the lines that get scored into the die, and then you begin to fold your rosette. So anyway, because it's one that will cut lengths that are huge, I did two, which is the easiest way to do it and to show you, and I'm going to show you now. So this is the die. As you can see, no cut edges at all, which mean you can make great big long strips and you can make huge lengths, making huge rosettes. Now, as you can see, when it cuts, you have got two ends that may look a little bit odd to you, but all you have to do is to take your two pieces, pop one behind the other and glue it, or use adhesive tape, make sure they match, and then you have one long running length. When you get to this end, you do exactly the same, and you would lay it behind this piece here to make it match. Now, folding it is very, very easy because, of course, you've got those score lines, and all you have to do is to bend it onto those score lines. On one like this, I don't actually bend that top piece, I just bend to the score line. So you would go backwards and forwards, making your hills and valleys along that bit there, and just leave those other bits intact. Let's see how quickly I can do one for you. So this is what it should look like on your first one. There we go. Whoops. Missed my score line. That's what it will look like when you've got it all squished together, and I just squish those bits. Can you see that? So that when you've got it folded, it's all right. Rosettes are usually springy because you put folds in them. So that is half of your rosette, and this would make the other half. Now, the way to fix it down is to put a blob of hot glue onto your craft mat. And once you've made it up, you bend it around like that, and you just stick it down onto your blob of hot glue, leave it and hold it there until it's dry. That will stop your rosette from springing out of shape. And you can then, if you want to, cut a rosette or put a piece of bling in the center there to hide your little hot glue dot or whatever may happen in the center. So that's how you do the sunflower rosette. Even though you've got score lines there, it's fiddly and you don't really want to crush that because it's pretty. So just do the score lines at the base, and I hope that was helpful to you. Right, now moving on. New dies. I got a sparkle die. Now, one thing to know about this sentiment die is it cuts in two pieces. Can you see that? The S and the P cut out, joined together, and then you add the arcle onto the end of it, which of course means that you can base it either side of a champagne glass or something like that if it's an engagement or an anniversary card, birthday card, what have you. So it also gives you the opportunity to begin your A under there and add something to the SP. So it's a nice little sentiment die, and I will measure that for you. And that is cut line to cut line, just under 3 inches. And at its highest point is 2 inches. So that was my new die, and I teamed that with my usual square stitch frame because I love it, and a small set of circle dies, and I used 3, and I also used 3 snowflakes. Of course, AliExpress has thousands and thousands of snowflakes to choose from, and as I was looking the other day, they actually have more than 3 million dies on AliExpress, which shows you how they've expanded in the past few years. And this is what I made. Now, you're not going to believe how I managed to achieve those circles. As you can see, the sparkle there, just space it out where you want it, and I put some bling below. But those circles were made, I cut 3 circle dies out, placed them underneath my clear craft mat so that I got a template to work to, and then I got my brush and I brushed Mod Podge onto my mat. That's not a very clear picture. Camera's always playing up. Let's see if we can get some focus. No. Ah, there you go. Mod Podge Super Gloss, brilliant. Great stuff. Get it when it's on sale at Michael or Joanne. And then once I'd painted my perfect circles onto my silicone mat, I sprinkled glitter. This pack is from Tuesday Morning, $2.99. So I sprinkled all of this stuff down onto my circle, and then I let it dry. I then die cut my snowflakes, placed them on top, and put more of the Mod Podge and more glitter. Let that dry, and then I just used a small palette knife and went underneath it, and they just lift off, and they are crystal clear when you pick them up. So I'm getting close. Let's see how close the camera will go. There you go. They are transparent when you pick them up. And then I just used Dollar Tree PVA glue to glue them down. So that's how I did those sparkling circles. Right, another new die. And it's this one. It's a great little sunflower. Very pretty. I love the way all of the openings and everything look as if it's paper cut. So I'm going to measure that, and it is cut line to cut line 3.5 inches, and going across its widest points. Let's have a look at that. That's 1 3/4 inches at its widest points, and it's a sweet little die. And I used it with my favourite frame, and it's this one. This is still available on AliExpress, and I will of course link it below. And this is what I made. I used my Crayola portfolio crayons, and if you don't know how to use those, or if you've never seen them before, I will link a video where I show you how to use those on embossing folders below. And I did the frame in cream and did a white edge there, and then if I get close in to that sunflower, it is cut from Dollar Tree foam, and then I sealed the whole thing using my favourite Glamour Dust ice crystal paint. If you haven't got any of that, you should. It's really good. It makes everything solid. So, and it also of course gives it a shimmer with that glitter in there. So I just used my Crayola portfolio, just blended it in with my finger, glued it onto the pattern cardstock, which is also from Tuesday Morning, and then went over it with that Glamour Dust paint. Well, that is what I have for you today, and I have more new dies to show you tomorrow. And I've got my hot pink that I will link below, and when you're looking at that, please bear in mind the size of it, because it is almost 6 inches by 5¼ inches, this hot pink die, and you can cut it down into any sizes that you want, and it comes with layering flower pieces. So that's one that's on my shopping list this week. You have a fabulous day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.